Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Hey Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Hey Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari O Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Hey Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana O Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Radha Kala Chanji Radha Kala Chanji Radhe Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stottara Satta Shishimad Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Gaur Prema Anandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19, Text 24, titled King Yayati Achieves Liberation. Nobody has the verse to respond to, right? So I'll just read it, right? Oh, phones? Okay. 19. Canto 9, Chapter 19, Text 24. Ready? Light doesn't work, huh? Ashvitam Varshapugan Sadvargam Vishayeshu Sa Kshanena Mumuche Nidam Jata Paksha Iva Dvijaha Ashevitam Varshapugan Sadvargam Vishayeshu Sa Kshanena Mumuche Nidam Jata Paksha Iva Dvijaha Ashevitam Varshapugan Sadvargam Vishayeshu Sa Kshanena Mumuche Nidam Jata Paksha Iva Dvijaha. So, Shevitam, being always engaged in, Varshapugan, for many, many years, Satvargam, the six senses, including the mind, Vishayeshu, in sense enjoyment, Sa, King Yayati, Kshanena, within a moment, Mumuche, gave up, Nidam, nest, Jatapakshaha, one that has grown its wings, Iva, like, Dvijaha, a bird. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Having enjoyed sense gratification for many, many years, O King Parikshit, Yayati was accustomed to it, but he gave it up entirely in a moment, just as a bird flies away from the nest as soon as its wings have grown. Purport. That Maharaj Yayati was immediately liberated from the bondage of conditioned life is certainly astonishing. But the example given herewith is appropriate. A tiny baby bird, dependent fully on its father and mother, even to eat, suddenly flies away from the nest when its wings have grown. Similarly, if one fully surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is immediately liberated from the bondage of conditioned life. As promised by the Lord Himself, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishame. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2:14-18. Kiratahunan japulinda pulakasha abhidashumba yavana kashadaya yanecha papaya dapashraya shaya sudhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Kirita, Huna, Anja, Pulinda, Pulaksha, Abira, Shumba, Yavana, and the Kashar races, and even others addicted to sinful acts, can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. For He is the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. Lord Vishnu is so powerful that He can deliver anyone at once if He is pleased to do so. And Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, can be pleased immediately if we accept His order by surrendering unto Him, as Maharaj Yayati did. Maharaj Yayati was eager to serve Vasudeva Krishna, and therefore as soon as he wanted to renounce material life, Lord Vasudeva helped him. We must therefore be very sincere in surrendering ourselves unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Then we can immediately be liberated from all the bondage of conditioned life. This is clearly expressed in the next verse. So I'll read that verse too, since Prabhupada's bringing it up. Text 25. Because King Yayati completely surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, he was freed from all contamination of the material modes of nature. Because of his self-realization, he was able to fix his mind upon the transcendence, Parabrahman, Vasudeva, and thus he ultimately achieved the position of an associate of the Lord. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaha Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. What comes next? Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Satam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you, Prabhus, for your association in this Srimad Bhagavatam class. Now, without looking at your phones, can you tell me what what we just read?
You
Yes?
Enjoying so many lifetimes of pleasure and happiness, finally each of everything, just like a small dog who gets a drink, dependent on his parents, but once he gets a drink, it's like so he got the realization, immediately gave up everything.
Awesome. And the next verse, not someone else who would like to say what the other verse was? Any remembrance? That without looking at your phones? So the next verse was saying that because he immediately surrendered to the Lord, he was able to get a position. He became completely freed from the material energy, and he was able to get given a position as an associate of the Lord. So this is the process of spiritual life, is to give up our false sense of belonging to this body, to belonging to the material energy, right? Which it doesn't say specifically in this verse or the purport, but which sex life is the strongest binding force. And the whole chapter here is King Yayati is explaining to his wife in a story about some goats. That there was a he-goat, and it saw a she-goat in a well. It was trapped in there. And when the he-goat saved the she-goat found attraction to the he-goat, and the he-goat got attached and attracted to her, and they got married. I don't know, goats get married, but it's a story to make a point. So after this, he was explaining that that the material attachment, especially to sex desire, binds one to the misconception that we can enjoy substantially without service, without knowing our true nature and knowing our spiritual, eternal, blissful relationship with the Supreme Lover. That's what, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in the purport, Prabhupada was saying that how one can give up the material, which is so, actually it's empowered by Krishna, right? Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But then he gives the key, the loophole. But one who surrenders unto me can easily cross beyond it. So something that's very difficult can be easily done if we completely, like Prabhupada says in the purport, if we completely surrender to Krishna, then we can be liberated. Otherwise, to different degrees, we're still imprisoned, entangled, conditioned. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the material world. All of us, to different degrees, are trying to help each other get back to our free, spiritual, blissful state, where it's natural to express devotion. But the process of Krishna consciousness is not the process of negation, right? Like there's that saying, neti neti, right? Like some philosophers, they say, oh, spiritual life, it's not this, it's not this, it's not that. So they say, okay, the material world is not real. But what it is, they never know. And what it is, they don't say. Because that's the positive thing. Bhakti Yoga and Krishna consciousness is the positive spiritual reality and the alternative. So it's explained that, there's one way of disciplining a child. Somebody who's being naughty, you just say, okay, don't do anything, face the corner, stay in the corner. Don't do anything. That's one approach, even in spiritual circles. They say, okay, don't engage in the activities of material life because they're entangling, and it'll bind you to the cycle, the samsara of birth and death. So don't, they become celibate, like Mayavadi sannyasis or Buddhists. They don't engage in work, they engage in meditation, right? So they basically, they haven't gotten, by the grace of realized Vaishnavas, by realized devotees, the positive spiritual activities of the soul in relationship with Krishna and the spiritual world. So they just say, don't stop. Stop the negative, or stop the material activities, and just sit there. Just meditate. Not saying anything. It's good to meditate on Krishna and Krishna's activities, Krishna's qualities. But the activities of Krishna consciousness are giving us the positive. So a better form of discipline, when you're a parent, you know, okay, the kid is on the gadget, to more or less wasting their brain, wasting their time. Give them something better to do. Give them an activity. Do something with them, personal. Right? So you give them something. So Krishna consciousness is that. The activities of devotional service. Engage in making the flower vases. Engage in dressing the deity. Engage in running a Krishna house. Engage in running a restaurant. Engage in running festivals. Engage in managing a temple. Engage in your sadhana. Engage in hearing and chanting. So instead of just negating, not this, not that, don't do this, don't do that, it gives you the positive. So it's just like a cup. If a cup is filled halfway with poison, if you keep pouring milk in it, eventually all the poison comes out and what's left is just milk. So that's the process of Krishna consciousness, is that to different degrees we're filled with material attachments, which are mainly lust, confirmed, lust, anger, envy, madness, illusion. I forgot one. Lust, anger, madness, envy, illusion, pride, I think, or something. Greed. Yeah, see? Huh? Okay. So like it says in the Bhagavad Gita that these are the enemies of the soul, this lust, anger and greed, right? So how to get rid of it is to add more Krishna consciousness. Just like Prabhupada has given us 16 rounds minimum, right? But you can do more. You can binge. Just like sometimes you get a binge, you eat a whole tub of ice cream. So binge on spirituality. Sometimes you get a little momentum with chanting. Binge. Chant an extra set. You have a day off or you have some time off of work. Oh, let me just read the Bhagavatam straight for 3 hours or whatever it is. And you'll feel your tank getting charged up. You feel your batteries being charged, right? So that's what we need. Right now, to different degrees, we're just hanging in there, right? You ask people, how you doing? I'm hanging in there, Prabhu. And a lot of us in spiritual life, we're just hanging on, barely. Because 16 rounds is the minimum. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that everyone should chant 64 rounds. Prabhupada tried, he said 64, the devotee said that's too much. He said, okay, 32. And then the devotee said, I think that's too much, Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, okay, 16, no less. Because actually in Lord Chaitanya's time, Lord Chaitanya, he said that I won't take any prasadam from somebody who is not lacked, who doesn't have a lack. And people are thinking, oh, he won't take prasadam from somebody who doesn't have this much money. And then they realize somebody who doesn't chant a lack of rounds. It doesn't chant. I guess that equals 64 rounds is a lack of holy names, or I don't know. But that's what he was referring to. So what we need is more. We need to fill our cup more and get that poison out. Get that poison out of the cup so that the amrit, that the nectar of Krishna consciousness is overflowing. And then that's how you give up a lower taste by experiencing a higher taste. And how we give up desiring the paltry pleasures of the material body and the material world is by experiencing the pleasures of the spiritual world, of the Krishna consciousness. And Krishna is eager to give us this bliss. Because just like we're intrinsically Krishna conscious, right? Krishna prema, nitya siddha, sadhuka bunoi, shravanadi, shuddhachitta, ke ura adoy. That this Krishna prema, that pure love for Krishna, is eternally situated in the heart of every living entity. And that by hearing, by shravanadi, by hearing about him, it's revived and reawakened. So just like we're all blissed out in we can't even imagine. Actually, you know, when they say in the different traditions that elevated spiritual saints and souls faint in ecstasy, is because the body can't handle the pleasure that the soul is experiencing. So just the body checks out. So actually the body itself is not fit to handle the amount of pleasure that the soul naturally experiences. Anyhow, in service to Krishna, this ananda, this pleasure of the soul, becomes manifest, and it's anandam buddhivardhanam. It's ever increasing. Just like you all can experience, we're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Like how long you've been chanting, Prabhu? You know, in your life? Or you can even say past life. So 2 years every day for a certain amount of hours, right? All of us are chanting the same 3 names for day after day, month after month. And to the degree of our surrender, to the degree of our complete surrender, we're finding reciprocation on the spiritual plane that wants us to keep going. Krishna gives us tastes. Krishna gives us little coming attractions, right? Like they do in the movies. They show you some short clip, something that looks enticing and exciting that okay, I want to go check that out. So Krishna is doing the same. As those surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly, Krishna says. Or as those approach me, I reciprocate. So just like we're intrinsically full of love in our relationship with Krishna, Krishna prema, nitya siddha. So Krishna is full of love, ever increasing eternally for his devotees, and he wants to shower. That's his only program. It's like it's ISKCON phrase, especially older days. They'll look at some devotee on their space out. What's your program? You know. So what are you doing? What are you up to? But the only thing Krishna is contemplating, how can I give pleasure to my devotees? How can I reciprocate? He's Rasa Bihari, Rasa Raj, the king of loving exchanges. He's just playful. But it has to be on a high level of purity and spirituality. So we have to give up the lower taste by surrendering to Krishna. And the more we do, the more Krishna, the more we open ourselves up. It's just like the rain. The rain puts its rain everywhere. It goes on the ocean, it goes on rock, it goes on the land, it lands on, everywhere. It's indiscriminate. So Krishna's mercy is also for everyone. It just depends on us at this stage. Do we want to open ourselves up to the spiritual reality of our relationship with Krishna? Hari Om Tat Sat. It's 8:29, and according to the Krishna House standards, we end at 8:30. But there's only one member of Krishna House here. So any reflections, comments, questions? Thank you for your time and association and the service.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the class. Very enlightening. I was thinking about when you were talking about meditating on nothing or doing nothing. And Srila Prabhupada in the Nectar of Instruction says, if you're doing foolish activities, this is good. If you're just doing foolish stuff, then okay, yeah, stop and just meditate. But somebody who's wanting more than just foolish activities needs to start doing positive activities. And matter of fact, the soul being active after a while can't handle not doing anything, so it must do something. So then I guess our choice is either we go back to foolish activities or we start doing the process of Krishna consciousness and get away from that.
Yeah, right. Prabhupada says an idle mind, he repeated this old phrase, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So he would say that you perform devotional service in Krishna consciousness, right? So it's not that you can be on the altar and you could be thinking, oh, you know what, I got to go to the hardware store after this. I mean, that may be practical service too, but mainly the process of devotional service, Prabhupada adds, in Krishna consciousness is like full on, it's the full package. Our mind has to be completely engaged, our body has to be completely engaged. Then it's what Prabhupada's talking about. We fully surrender. Otherwise, what's the sign of the difference between what somebody's doing on the altar and somebody's doing in the spiritual world? They've been doing the same thing. Mother Yashoda, Radharani, they're cooking for Krishna eternally. Our devotees here are cooking. Well, there's a difference in mental absorption. So yeah, the first certain things have to be stopped. On a physical level, that's what the 4 regs are. Okay, you can't do this. And that helps. The mind ultimately stops certain distractions. Then when the mind stops certain distractions, then the soul can be expressed more. When the body and mind are engaged in material activities, the soul, in one sense, is repressed or more covered over. So you don't feel the natural ecstasy that we're hankering for. Others, please say something. Everyone say one reflection, or take the mic for the online listeners.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you very much for the class, Prabhu. I felt nice when you mentioned like Krishna mercy is always available. The only thing is we have to open up. So, yeah, and with the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I came into this way. So, I'm thankful for that.
Jai Prabhupada.
Jai.
Prabhuji. Yeah, because actually there's only one price to pay for Krishna consciousness. Intense greed. Just like we said, we have to give up lust, anger. Actually, all these things can be utilized and should be, everything should be given in Krishna's service. So we have to be lusty for Krishna. I mean, eager. That's what it translates to. Intensely desirous and greedy for Krishna's service, Krishna's reciprocation. Like Gaur Govinda Maharaj, I heard that he once did his obeisances to Prabhupada's Murti, and he in his heart, or maybe he even said it out loud, that I'm not going to get up until every speck of lust is gone from my heart. And then I guess he laid there for some time, and then just when he got some internal indication, he got up.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class. Prabhu, I just wanted to understand, I don't know the story of Yayati as a whole, but when you told in a moment he got came out of the material world and completely out. So what is the process when and how will we get that moment where we completely think about only Krishna but not anything, any attachments to this material world?
Thank you for the nice, because I wanted to touch on the point that a bird leaves the nest when its wings are fully developed. That's one point, right, that I wanted to touch on. Thank you. Because before that, it may think, I'm gonna get out of here, I'm gonna do my own flying in the sky, but if its wings aren't developed, it's gonna die. fall right out of the nest. So that's a matter of knowing ourselves, and also having, like devotional service, we always have guides, right? We always have mentors. And we always check in with our Shiksha Gurus, our Diksha Gurus if possible, and the Sangha of devotees, that I'm feeling like I should do this service now. What do you think? So another point is that it's a matter of self-reflection also, to know. We have to be honest with ourselves and look properly, and with the loving assistance of the devotee association. I'm thinking I should take sannyas. What do you think? You'll get some straightforward. I mean, in that sense, that's external in one sense, but that's what we're talking about. And the devotees will say, "Oh, Prabhu, you're not fit." Like so, one devotee, Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Well, he's a very dear Prabhupada disciple. He told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, "I'm thinking to take sannyas." He said, "You are not fit. You are fat." He was just. But yeah, the devotee association, and then also just like, who has to tell you that you're satisfied when you've eaten enough? Yeah, we should know, but unfortunately, because we're not, it's like when you're in the more in the mode of goodness, right? You can eat a simple, okay, I've had enough. When you're not, when you're like emotionally eating, you're not paying attention. Your mind is somewhere else. You're angry about something. You're eating, and it's not nothing. You can eat. You can damage yourself, is what a lot of people do. So there has to be a point of you practicing Krishna consciousness so that we're more in tune with what's going on internally, so that we can make proper advancement. And then always have the check, sadhu, guru, sadhu, and shastra. So, and mainly that means always staying in the association of devotees and having a relationship in where they know us, and we reveal, right? We reveal our ourselves to confidentially, not to the whole sangha, but there should be a few, or one at least, one person that we tell them the deep and dirty things, the dark things that we're working on, and share confidentially and grow. And then there'll come a time when our wings are developed and we can, because it's a process. Would you like to add anything?
Hare Krishna. Yes. So, Prabhu, so you also touched upon a point that many of us are hanging out and all in this Krishna consciousness. But the answer to this question is also same as the one you told earlier. I'm checking that externally I might be around temple, always associated with devotees, but internally am I progressing? How? So is that also, how do I check that? Is that also through sadhu, guru, sadhu and shastra?
Yeah, and the same answer applies to that for sure. You know within yourself where you can be more attentive. And in general, most of us have to be more attentive to our early sadhana, and then also qualitative japa. And try. It's a principle of devotional service to seek out advanced association. So within our community, we should seek it out. Oh, who's chanting absorbed japa? Can I chant with them and be more attentive? Who's doing absorbed service? Can I assist them? So that's what devotional service is, the eternal process of refining our offerings for the pleasure of Krishna and his devotees. So we're always thinking, like Vaisheshika Prabhu says, always better service. How may I chant more sweetly, more pleasingly to inspire the devotees? How may I serve more lovingly So that's what's nice about Krishna consciousness, is that there's always something to refine, always something to fine tune. Because you think just like Lord Chaitanya was in Mahabharata, he was feeling the ecstasies of Radharani's love for Krishna, because he's Radharani. I mean, who is he? He's Krishna in the mood of Radharani. So, but he was thinking, I have no love for Krishna. He's crying and exhibiting, dancing for hours and hours, and inducing anybody who saw him would start dancing and singing and crying in ecstasy the Mahamantra. But then he's thinking, I have no love for Krishna. If I had love for Krishna, I would die instantly, because I'm not with Krishna right now. So that I'm alive is proof that I have no love for Krishna. So what to speak of us? We can be honest and say, I have a lot of work to do, a lot of things to improve. So on every level, but not to get heavy on ourselves, but to take it in a balanced way of refining our japa. Take little steps. That can be maintained. A little, okay, I'm going to wake up 5 minutes earlier, write things down, how you're going to improve. Prabhupada said, writing is realizing. So he encouraged everybody to write. Hey, write things down. This is how I'd like to improve. These are the steps. Check it in with a friend or your wife or somebody, like have a buddy, somebody who helps you. Okay, Prabhu, so we can become purified by taking the prasadam of Radha Kalachandji. We can completely surrender to the prasadam of Radha Kalachandji. Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.